to stop what you're doing and listen.
Hello and welcome to episode 41. I am MOSH. Before I get into this week's episode, I kind of want to mention next week's episode because next week it'll be episode 42. And, if the Illuminati exists, 42 is their number. What's the meaning of life? It's 42. So since you can only have episode 42 once, I thought it would be kind of interesting to do a conspiracy theories episode next week. Now, if there's gaming and music related stuff that needs to be talked about, it'll be talked about. I'm not going to completely skip over that, but we could add in some conspiracy theories, and some of them are kind of freaky. And since it is October and Halloween and spooky month, it could kind of fit in. So I think next week some conspiracy theories will be brought up, but that's in the future. So let's focus on the present. Doom Eternal, it's been delayed. Here's an official statement from id Software. Throughout the development of Doom Eternal, our goal has been to deliver a game that exceeds your greatest expectations across the board. To make sure we are delivering the best experience, for Doom Eternal to live up to our standards of speed and polish, we've made the decision to extend our launch date by a few months to March 20th, 2020. That's an interesting date. March 20th, 2020, there's 3/20s, and March is the third month, so it's 3/20, 2020, okay. We know many fans will be disappointed by this delay, but we are confident that Doom Eternal will deliver a gaming experience that is worth the wait. In addition to shifting the Doom Eternal launch date, we've made a couple of other changes we wanted you to know about. Invasion Mode, which will allow you to enter another player's game as a playable demon, will release as a free update shortly after launch. Doom Eternal for Nintendo Switch will release after the other platforms. We will announce that date in the future. Doom 64 will be available on Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and PC in addition to Nintendo Switch. We are adding Doom 64 as a pre-order bonus for Doom Eternal on all platforms, so you'll be able to download and play this classic game for free just by pre-ordering Doom Eternal. Doom 64 will be released on March 20th, 2020 on all platforms. We are grateful to every Doom fan for your dedication and support. We can't wait to rip and tear right alongside you. That is a delay of a few months, but it happens, and they do it for a reason. Make sure the game is as good as it can be at launch. They do these things for the players. They could easily just release the game and it could be broken, and then everyone's mad. So let them delay it, work on it more, fix it up, and everyone will be happy. Everyone will be able to live. This also just makes that timeline even more brutal because, again, you had The Last of Us Part 2 in February. You have Final Fantasy VII Remake at the beginning of March. Now you have Doom Eternal at the end of March. And then you have Cyberpunk 2077 in April. So you just added another big game right into that lineup of games. Next year's nuts. Speaking of nuts, let's talk about Blizzard. So if you don't know what's been happening with Blizzard and the negativity surrounding them in China and Hearthstone and all that, I'm going to tell you. I'm getting all this from IGN. On October 8th, a Hearthstone professional player by the name of Blitzchung was banned by Blizzard. He was interviewed on the official Taiwanese Hearthstone stream by caster Virtual and Mr. Yi, all while wearing a face mask that was worn in rebellion to China's recent anti-mask law for protesters. He then proceeded to shout, "Liberate Hong Kong, revolution of our age." The stream then cut to commercial, and all on-demand footage had been removed. Blizzard issued the ban on October 8th, saying Blitzchung violated the 2019 Hearthstone Grandmasters official competition rules and banning him from Hearthstone esports for 12 months and basically taking away his $10,000 prize. This obviously got a huge response from people. It made it seem like Blizzard banned him because he's supporting Hong Kong, and Blizzard, part of Blizzard is owned by Tencent, which is a Chinese company. I think it's only 5%, so it's not that much, but it's a little something. So people are like, oh, well, Blizzard doesn't support Hong Kong and the protests over there. So obviously they got mad. Blizzard has since responded, and they lowered his ban to 6 months, and they will be giving him his money. And this is what the president of Blizzard had to say. J. Allen Brack, president of Blizzard Entertainment, wrote a letter to Blizzard's community to address the event that occurred last week's Hearthstone Grandmasters tournament, saying that even though Blizzard will reduce the punishment, there is a consequence for taking the conversation away from the purpose of the event and disrupting or derailing the broadcast. Brack reiterated that Blitzchung used his segment to make a statement about the situation in Hong Kong in violation of rules he acknowledged and understood, and this is why we took action. He continues by saying that even though every voice matters, the official broadcast needs to be about the tournament and to be a place where all are welcome. In support of that, we want to keep the official channels focused on the game. Brack says that the views expressed by Blitzchung were not the issue here, and that our relationships in China had no influence on our decision. Yeah, right. So you're telling me that if this guy gave a shout out to his parents, that he would still be banned? Because that's taking away from the game, right? Because in his own words, he said, in support of that, we want to keep the official channels focused on the game. The official broadcast needs to be about the tournament. Well, if he gave a shout out to his parents, that wouldn't be about the game or the tournament. So surely you would ban him for that, right? No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't ban someone for doing that, even though they just did what you said you didn't want them to do. You banned him because he supports Hong Kong. It's very clear. We're not stupid. Also, Blizzard, if this had nothing to do with China and was simply because the guy wasn't talking about the game or the tournament, why was the past broadcast removed? Why was the VOD removed? Exactly. Also, I guess 2 of the shoutcasters were suspended as well. They have a 6-month suspension. And some other video game companies have spoken out as well, just like Riot Games, who are 100% owned by Tencent. They basically are saying that they're trying to stay neutral on this matter, that they don't want their players to be talking about anything outside of the game as well. But no one knows if they're willing to place a ban, because no one's tried anything at a League of Legends tournament yet. So someone should try and see what happens. One of the players could say something or have Hong Kong support signs in the audience, because I'm pretty sure they have a live audience at some of their tournaments. It's just like the NBA right now. There are people who had free Hong Kong signs in the crowds at NBA games during the preseason right now, and they had their signs confiscated, and I think even a few fans got completely kicked out of the arena. But Riot Games is 100% owned by a Chinese company. They say they're trying to stay neutral, but remember, if they're 100% owned by a Chinese company, that company's the one making this response, not Riot. Also with Riot Games, one of their League of Legends teams, known as Hong Kong Attitude, won a match, but they were not given a post-game interview. All the other teams get post-game interviews when they win, but this team was not given one. And the casters for League of Legends are also not allowed to say the team's full name. Neutral, but yet not neutral. And then you have Epic Games, who are 40% owned by Tencent, and they said they don't care. If their pro Fortnite players want to speak their mind, they are 100% allowed to. So, respect to Epic Games. It's just interesting when they say they don't want to take away from the game or the tournament. Really? Because I'm pretty sure that's what a lot of these tournaments and video game streams do when something happens in this world. I've seen it happen a few times where there's a tragic event, and at one of these tournaments, the shoutcasters will be like, let's take a moment of silence and just remember the people that we lost in this event. That has nothing to do with your game or your tournament. You're taking away from your own broadcast. That's what you just said you didn't want to do, but yet you're doing it. That's fine. But if China gets brought up, whoa, pump the brakes. You can't do that. Or like when Pride Month happens and everyone is celebrating Pride Month and they're talking about it on their broadcast. That has nothing to do with your game either. So I'm sensing a little bit of a hypocrisy here. Another thing to remember, though, is Activision is trying to get Call of Duty Mobile approved in China right now. And Activision and Blizzard are one company. They merged. So I'm wondering if Blizzard saw this with their own player and then thought about Activision's side and then just like prematurely pulled the trigger, no pun intended, and banned him because they didn't want to hurt their relations with China in trying to get this game approved, because mobile games in China are massive. So it'd be like a huge chunk of money coming back to this company. Even though Activision and Blizzard are one company, I feel like they operate separately. I feel like Blizzard's over here doing their thing, Activision's over there doing their thing, and then the heads of the companies, come together every now and then and discuss greed. And this became a much bigger deal than it needed to be. If Blizzard didn't do anything, no one would have thought twice about this. The fact that they banned this one guy, now you're not dealing with one guy. You're dealing with thousands of people. A lot of people have been deleting their accounts. There were so many people deleting their accounts that Blizzard services couldn't even keep up. Like, people were getting errors. And it's like how scared these companies are. Blizzard got scared of One person. One person spoke out, and they felt the need to ban him for a year and take his money away, which has changed, like I mentioned, but still, one person. And these companies don't even need China. They make so much money. I don't know, it's just crazy to me. It's like these American companies just bowing down to China, just like the little puppets they are. And the other crazy thing is China doesn't need any of these American companies because they do everything on their own. They have their own version of PUBG, which is a blatant ripoff. I mean, if you just look at I forgot what the game's called, but if you just look at the artwork, like, come on. They have their own ripoff of League of Legends, even though they own Riot Games, Tencent does. They invest so much money into video games. I mean, they have their own version of Twitter. Like, they don't need American companies. Yet American companies just bow down to China. It's crazy. They're just puppets. They're just puppets for money. All this is about is money. Forget people wanting to live normal, peaceful lives. Just get money. And what about BlizzCon? BlizzCon starts, I'm pretty sure, on November 1st, which is just a couple weeks away. How's that going to go over? Are there going to be protests there? If people go to BlizzCon and have free Hong Kong signs or t-shirts, what are they going to do? Deny them entrance? You know what I'd like to see happen? When the people from Blizzard are up there announcing and revealing new games, which I've heard is what they are going to try to do. They're going to announce big things to try to like win people back over. So when they're revealing these things, I would love to hear the crowd just start chanting Hong Kong and just see what happens. I don't play any of Blizzard's games anyway, so watching them burn is totally cool. Don't care about Diablo, don't care about Overwatch, don't care about Hearthstone, don't care about... What else do they have? They're all garbage games to me anyway, so have fun with that one, Blizzard. On Activision side, I play Call of Duty. That's it. Oh yeah, World of Warcraft. How could I forget about that? They just released the classic version of World of Warcraft, which people seem to love. And this happens. It's like, it'll be interesting how this plays out. BlizzCon is going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting time. This is how I expect BlizzCon to go down. Hello, everyone. My name is J. Allen Brack, and welcome to We Love China's JizzCon 2019. Thank you. Where are my Diablo fans at? All right. Anyone play Diablo Immortal? Anyone? Well, for you hardcore Diablo fans, we got something cooking. The newest installment in the Diablo franchise is Diablo Us. All right. We got something for you Overwatch people as well. The newest Overwatch game will be called Overwatch Us Banned You. Thank you. That is going to conclude our press conference for today. I really hope you enjoy the rest of this event. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here because I got to go get Hearthstone on some Chinese opium. Woo! We'll see you next year. Probably how it's going to go down. The event's just going to be full of hardcore Blizzard fans anyways. It's just going to be a bunch of people like, yeah, well, in classic World of Warcraft, I already got my Dark Elf to level 79, and I'm pretty happy with the build. Is this the line to meet the Tracer cosplay? Okay, cool. Yeah, I don't really play Diablo, though, because my mom and dad really pounded the Christian faith into my brain, and it's kind of too evil for me, so I just gotta stay away from Diablo. But yeah, I really like World of Warcraft. Wait, what? Tracer's gay? Well, in Christian, my faith, like, those people are supposed to burn and you don't forgive them, but I mean, she's not real, she's digital. Have you seen her butt? Like the pixel, the curve. I'll give her a free pass on that one, but yeah, you know. Those are the fans. Those are the Blizzard fans. Thank you. Very hard impression to do. Whew. Takes a lot out of you. All right, let's move away from that subject. On to Red Dead Redemption 2 for PC. So if you pre-order the game through the Rockstar Games launcher, you can get 2 free games on PC. You have only until October 22nd to do this, and you get 6 games to choose from. Bully, Grand Theft Auto Vice City, Max Payne 3, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, LA Noire, and Grand Theft Auto 3. But if you downloaded the Rockstar Games launcher when I told you to, you could have got San Andreas for free. So you could have got 3 of these 6 games for free instead of only 2 of them. You gotta be in the Discord. Why are you the way you are? Actually, if you were in the Discord, you would know that Booty God put a link in there for a huge Assassin's Creed sale. Games were, what, $7? I think the newest one dropped down to like 25. They went all out, Ubisoft. They were just handing out Assassin's Creed basically for free, for peanuts. But you didn't know about it because you weren't in the Discord. And the sale's over already. Actually, there might be one more day left. Next up, we have some angry gamer bros, dude. So people are mad at PlayStation because the new Spec Ops mode in Modern Warfare is exclusive to PS4 for an entire year. And all the hate towards PlayStation just doesn't make any sense to me. There's this thing that's called business. And when you are in an industry with competition, which is every industry, you have to get a leg up on your competitors. How do you do that in the gaming industry? You get exclusive content. It's business. And how on earth is it PlayStation's fault that Activision is giving them a exclusive mode for 1 year? If PlayStation goes to Activision and says, hey, we want exclusive content, we will pay you this amount of money, and Activision goes, okay, it's Activision's fault. If you flip it and Activision goes to PlayStation and says, hey, we'll give you exclusive content, we want this amount of money, it's still Activision's fault. Because at the end of the day, it's Activision's content. So if it's between PlayStation and Activision, it's Activision's fault. If it's between Microsoft and Activision, it's Activision's fault. If it's between Nintendo and Activision, it's always Activision's fault in any scenario because it's their content. Same thing if it was EA or Ubisoft or whoever's content it is, their fault. It's not like someone from Sony went to Activision's office, held someone at gunpoint and said, you're going to give us this exclusive right now or this person's going to get it. No, they go into a meeting. We want this, we want that. Agreement, shake hands, contract, sign this, whatever. And you know this is Activision's doings because the same thing happened in Destiny. All the PS4 exclusive stuff in Destiny was 1 year. So back when Bungie had their agreement with Activision, all that stuff was for a year on PlayStation 4. And now you have this Call of Duty stuff for a year on PlayStation 4. Two different companies, two different franchises, but what is the one thing they have in common? Activision. It's Activision's fault. And you know I gotta defend my company. So, to all Xbox people, you better duck for cover right now, because I'm about to send hellfire down on you. I'm just being dramatic. But Xbox and Microsoft are not innocent in this, because they've pulled the exact same stunt, even worse. But all the Xbox people seem to forget about this, because it has nothing to do with their company, right? Rise of the Tomb Raider? Yeah, that whole game was exclusive to Xbox for 1 year before it came to PlayStation. Not one mode, the entire game. BioShock 1, same thing. Exclusive to Xbox for 1 year before it came to PlayStation. Titanfall 1, exclusive to Xbox, period. You know, it's on PC as well. But the sequel came to PlayStation. When Microsoft and Activision had their Call of Duty deal for DLC, DLC was on Xbox for a whole month before it came to PlayStation. PlayStation's DLC deal with Activision, 1 week. It's really easy to forget things your company has done when the other company is under fire. Let's even look at Nintendo. What about Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3? What's up with that? The first two are multi-platform, and now this one's exclusive to Nintendo? It was made by Team Ninja. Nintendo just decided to publish it, so they made it exclusive. Team Ninja make Ninja Gaiden games and Dead or Alive. They make Neo. Neo's exclusive to PlayStation, but here's the difference. Neo only has 2 games. First one was already exclusive to PlayStation, and the second one, I believe, is still exclusive. So it's not like it was multi-platform and now it's exclusive like what Nintendo just did. But why does no one point the finger at Nintendo? Oh, that's right. It's the hidden rule. You can't say anything bad about Nintendo. Now, do I agree with this 1 year thing? No. It's too long, and it really shouldn't be happening. But people are blaming the wrong company for this. And Activision has a ton of money. They don't even need to be accepting deals like this. They have so much money. It's not like they're broke. Oh man, we gotta get bailed out somehow. Let's crack a deal with PlayStation so we can get money. No, they don't have to do any of this ever, but they do it. All right, I'm done with that. But keep it on with PlayStation. I'm just gonna make a prediction while we're here. So when the PS5 comes out, I think there's gonna be a new version of PlayStation Plus. I think they're gonna combine PlayStation Plus with PlayStation Now, and since each of them are $60 for a full year, knock $20 off, make it $100 a year. Call it PlayStation Premium. PlayStation Plus for a year, PlayStation Now for a year, and that's just one option. You don't have to get that if you don't want it. You can still get normal PlayStation Plus. But I think they will make that option available, and I think it'll be called PlayStation Premium. So if that does happen, remember episode 41, come back here, I'll collect my bragging rights, and everything will be fine. And while we're on the topic of predictions, next week will be the reveal of the top 20 best-selling games of the previous month. And I'm just going to go ahead and say Borderlands 3 is number one. Spoiler alert. And something else to mention about Modern Warfare, a chief developer from Infinity Ward has said in a statement that I will read it right now. There continues to be misinformed and incorrect info being pushed about Modern Warfare. What I can say right now is that we are definitely not working on any kind of supply drop or loot box system. Also, functional stuff is unlocked through gameplay. Stay tuned. We're planning to release info this week. So he said in that statement that they are not working on supply drops or a loot box system. So we'll see about that. And his name is Joel Emsley. I think it's Emslie. I mean, his last name has the word lie in it, so that's also kind of suspicious. But hey, we'll see. If they add in supply drops or loot boxes, you know who to send your thoughts to. Mr. Joel Emsley or Emslie. Moving on. It's time to talk about Fortnite. So Fortnite Season 10 or Season X, whatever they called it, is over, and Fortnite Chapter 2 is here. It's a brand new version of Fortnite. It's a new map. You got pogo sticks. You can go fishing. There's boats that you and your squad can ride in and shoot each other. You can hide in dumpsters and jump out of them, which is right up my alley. There's like in-game medals for doing things. It actually kind of looks like a new game, even though it's not. I mean, it kind of is because there's a lot of new stuff, but it's still Fortnite. And a new chapter has begun. It was really weird because for the event to end Season 10, it was called The End, and it just turned into a black hole, and people were not happy because, one, it lasted too long. Some of them were saying Epic failed because they expected the new season to start like immediately. Like Epic failed, they blew this. What are they doing? This is all calculated stuff. All this was done on purpose. They know how long that you're going to be sitting there looking at a black hole, and that it was going to take a couple days for the new season to start. It's 100% calculated. They said back in like season 2 or season 3 that they had already plans up until season 10 and beyond. They already knew they were going to do this. So no, they did not fail or blow it. They know what they're doing. If anyone failed, it was you for staring at a black hole for hours. I'm gonna have to hop back on this game though, because it might be a good fresh start. Hopefully it's fun. I miss the early days of Fortnite. When Fortnite Battle Royale first came out, it was so much fun and enjoyable. And then the steroid infused Bob the Builders came in and ruined the game. And so I quit. I can't compete with these people. Like with Fortnite, I'm just trying to play casually, and I go into a casual mode and I get wrecked. It's not fun. It's not enjoyable. I'm not looking for competition. If I was looking for competition, I'd go play in a competitive mode. Some games I'm cool with that. Halo, I'm fine with playing competitive Halo because I can hold my own in that game. If Resistance ever came back, totally fine. I played that game competitively. I know how to do it. This game, I don't want to play competitively. I don't need to build a 18-story mansion in about 2.3 seconds. I don't want to do that. You need to give people incentives to play competitive modes, like money. Say you play this competitive mode, if you rank in this certain top 100 or whatever, then you get to play in this special tournament, and then you can win prize money. So all the tryhards go to play that because they want money, leaving us noobs in the casual modes. It also doesn't help that I play Fortnite on PC for whatever reason, which just makes it even harder. I remember I tried it on PS4, and the aim assist there is so much aim assist on console. It's insane. Yeah, maybe I'll try this new chapter out and just see how it is. Moving on to music. I actually did have music stuff last week. I just forgot about it. So I'll just talk about it this week. So We Came as Romans are back. Last year, their vocalist passed away from an accidental heroin overdose. And they have two vocalists. They have one that sings and one that screams. And the one that sings is the one that died. But they just returned and released 2 new songs, Carry the Weight and From the First Note. And the other vocalist is pretty much taking on all the vocal duties, doing everything himself. So that is that. I don't really care for the new songs, if I'm being honest. They're all right. But their last album that they released is pretty good, and I would recommend it. We shall see what the future holds for them, and I'm glad they're continuing. I mean, it really wasn't a question if they would or wouldn't, but just having the confirmation is always good. Bands should never break up after someone dies. It's just, don't ever do that. Because if you end the band, then that person's memory also ends with the band. So you just got to keep it going, and you don't want to start a new band because then, it really just comes down to branding. Like, you built up this brand over years, and then to kind of toss that to the side and start something new from the ground up, even if you still have a fan base, like, it's not the same. Just keep what you have and keep going, and just do your best to pay tribute to whoever you lost. And then the other music news, Tekashi 69. We're going to talk about some rap, okay? Tekashi 69, the snitch boy himself. He's facing a lot of years in prison. I think this is like a minimum of 47 years. But if he ratted on people, they would minimize his sentence. So he did. I think they said he will officially be sentenced in December. So we got to wait a couple more months to see what kind of a prison sentence he's getting. But anyway, there were talks about him entering the witness protection program, which, if you know what he looks like, he would kind of need tattoo removal. But he also just signed a contract for 2 albums. I think one's supposed to be in Spanish and the other in English or something, but I don't know when that's supposed to happen. If this stuff's already been recorded and it's just sitting somewhere and they're going to release it, or if they're waiting till after he gets out of prison, or I don't know that info. But if a producer is credited on that album and this dude does go into witness protection program, the Bloods, the gang that he snitched against, will probably try to find that producer and threaten him. Not him indirectly, because they're going to be like, hey, where is this guy? We want to talk with him. But they can't hurt the producer because he has the info. He might have the info. 6ix9ine could record this from some other place and send the files through the internet and, that whole thing. And then the producer's like, I don't know. And then the Bloods then threaten his family, and then he starts freaking out. And then they try to, you know how it goes. Anyway, what I'm saying is Tekashi 69 is a dead man either way. Because even if he does enter the witness protection program, he's still dead. They said they have, 100% success rate? You're telling me every single person that has gone into that program has never been found. We might start conspiracy theories a little early. Maybe they've never been found because they're dead. Once the police get all the information they need, why should they help you? They could just take you out back and then you're done with. Of course there's a 100% success rate because you're not alive. Goes into the witness protection program, dead. Goes back out on the streets, dead. It's over. This is devastating for the rap community and a huge blow to the music industry as a whole, and it will take many years to recover from this. So it's going to be a rough one for a while. I'm just kidding. Later, dude. My weekly pick this week is going to be an album by a band called Fever 333. I talked about them earlier this year because they released their debut album. It is not the first album from the people in the band. All the guys in the band were in other bands before that released albums, and this is their first album with this project. So they're not new to the industry or anything. It's just new project, first album. That's what it is. I gave this album a 9 out of 10, and I'm actually going to change my score. This album is no longer a 9 out of 10. It is a 9.5 out of 10. I'm boosting it up. It's really good. All these months later, I still listen to it because it's really good. And I'll put a link to it in the description because I don't know what else to recommend. I think I had something to recommend this week and then I just didn't write it down, so I forgot. Yeah, it's a really good album, so listen to it because I said so. They're also pretty crazy live and they're just full of energy, so look up their live performances on YouTube. Or just look up the vocalist, Jason Butler. There's like some compilations of him with his previous band, Let Live. And yeah, you could just see how crazy he is. There's never a dull moment when that guy is on stage. All right, now it's time for this week's creepy story. A young girl named Lisa often had to spend time alone at home at night as her parents worked late. They bought her a dog to keep her company and to protect her. One night, Lisa was awakened by a dripping sound. She got up and went to the kitchen to make sure the tap was off. As she was getting back into the bed, she stuck her hand under the bed and the dog licked it. The dripping sound continued, so she went to the bathroom and made sure the tap was turned off there as well. She went back to her bedroom and stuck her hand under her bed, and the dog licked it again. But the dripping continued, so she went outside and turned off all the faucets out there. She came back to bed, stuck her hand under it, and the dog licked it yet again. The dripping continued. Drip, drip, drip. This time she listened and located the source of the dripping. It was coming from her closet. She opened the closet door and found her poor dog hanging upside down with its throat slit. Written on the inside of the closet door was, "Humans can lick too." Dude, I feel dirty for even reading that. This creepy story thing was a bad idea. Only a couple more weeks and then we can go back to the weird stories. We can go back to Florida. Anyway, that is going to do it for me this week. So thank you for listening and hanging out. Some links will be in the description. And next week, again, maybe conspiracy theories, maybe not. I don't know. It's just an idea that I'm throwing around in my noggin. So yeah, talk to you guys next week. Later.